Well, about now, I think you've realized that there's a lot of reading in this subject. Don't get intimidated, just make sure you stick to the schedule and you'll get through it fine. I will draw attention to a number of issues around the prescribed text now, because I think it's really important that you hear from me how important they are, especially as you tackle the assignments that are coming up. Now, the first publication I hope you've either purchased or that you've been able to secure from the library. If you haven't, I would get onto this pretty quickly because we're going to rely on this document as much as possible. So zoo animals, behavior management and welfare is an important book. It is published by Oxford Press, and I can't commend it more to you than I am now, because you will be using this a lot and it will stand you in good stead throughout your career. We're very fortunate to have one of the authors in Australia. So Vicky Melfi, many of you may have met Vicky. Vicky works at Taronga Zoo. She's been there for a number of years now. She did work in the British zoo industry and she has contributed significantly to this book. So I really commend it. So make sure you get onto it as quickly as possible. The other important readings are relating to the World Aquarium Zoo Association, so WAZA, World Association of Zoos and Aquaria, sorry. Now these are really important documents. They're the conservation strategies, one of which was published in 2005, the second came out in 2009. Now both of them are significant for this course. I do recommend that you do start with 2005 because it talks about the priorities for the zoo industry back then, and when you get to 2009 edition you'll be able to see how the industry has evolved and what priorities are still a significant challenge for the zoo industry then and now. So I really commend those to you. If you can't source them online, just go to the WAZA website. You should be able to get them from there. If not, just send me an email and I'll make sure I send you a link to them. Now there are many other publications that are important and we will talk about some of those now. There is Catalyst for Conservation, which is published back in 2007. That's an important book as well. It's more academic and it talks about the many challenges, the focus points for a modern zoo industry in the 21st century. Now all these publications are important to you for this course. There will be a significant part of the current assignment that you will start work on quite soon, which is looking at the questions around ringtail lemurs. Now you need to start that assignment quite soon, as I mentioned earlier. However, you will see the exhibit quite closely. We have a session in front of the exhibit when we go to Adelaide Zoo in April, and then you'll have a week to be able to finesse your assignment after we've concluded the residential school. There are many documents online. Don't go down the track of using Wikipedia and some of the references from particular zoos. It's fine if you use one or two references, but some people will take the easy path and start using references from San Diego Zoo. I mean, guys, too easy. That isn't an appropriate way of referencing, and I'm expecting you to be using as many references as possible that are being provided for you for that purpose. For example, one of the key readings is by Stephen Jackson. Now, Stephen Jackson was a curator at Hillsville Sanctuary for several years. Stephen wrote a protocol to help people like yourselves to develop the best husbandry guidelines possible. Stephen has got a set of protocols that you can follow, and so it's not an easy read because it's essentially looking at all the key questions that you need to ask in response to designing complex husbandry requirements for an animal. Easy as that. However, many people miss the easy reference that's there for you, and I'll be disappointed if you don't get my big hint and that you really need to include this. In addition to that, there is another set of protocols by Ken Delamotte. Now, again, it's a very boring looking document, but curators need to develop schedules and protocols, but don't reinvent the wheel. What I'm saying is Ken has done an excellent job. Ken was the exhibit planning officer for Taronga Zoo for many years. Ken put a lot of effort into ensuring that all the stakeholders were involved in the consultation process around developing guidelines for master planning and exhibit design. And when you're working on this assignment for the ringtail lemurs, you will again be asked, or you will be resolving some of those challenges. So reference that protocol because it really is quite important. You really don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's many people out there in this industry that have been doing it for many years, and Ken and Steve Jackson are the two most significant references for this assignment that you'll be working on. I will chat to you further online about any of the readings, but please don't hesitate to drop me a line, give me a call, or send me an email if you have any questions relating to the first module.